So apparently Kickin got a little bit too drunk and he lost his car keys and changed his name to "Has anyone seen my car keys?" He's going to be fighting Sphenomz on Outer Reaches, which I dare say probably does favour the Chaos. It's not too hard to gen bash on this map, though you've got to be careful when you retreat from the gen bashes that you don't get killed by Dire and nades. We'll see, but I think on this kind of map you really must go for Noise Marines, especially as the Chaos Lord. And the Watt Spiders, well, probably gonna go for double shuriken to be honest, but I don't know how well double shurikens does these days against the buffed grenade launcher ticks. We'll have to see. Dire Avengers here attempting to firefight against CSM when they're only in yellow cover, and it doesn't even look like they were fully in cover. I mean, it's just a terrible idea. I don't know what the hell Sphenomz was thinking there, to be honest. Just throwing away free Guardian models for not really any purpose. Did I call them Dire Avengers earlier? Guardians.
This is the hate of the dark gods.
So one of the beautiful things about having heretics against the Watt Spider Exarch is, even though the Watt Spider Exarch does pretty well in both melee and ranged, he doesn't have a special attack by default. So he's basically not very good against heretics. I mean, he'll still kill a few of them in melee and then can teleport away, so it's not terrible, but it's okay. Because even with the Farseer and the Warlock, I mean, you can still 1v1 them with the ticks because they can't get the special attack off against the heretics, but they just force melee onto CSM, and then if your heretics are chasing, they're going to get wrecked by the special attacks, especially the Warlock. So, super light initial build from Sphenomz here, going straight away for the Shuriken. As I say, it probably will be double Shurikens. Yeah, and we see Noise Marines. So, double Shurikens is a good counter to this build, but the thing is, Chaos Lord himself obviously can't be suppressed. You've got the Speed Worship, so you can use that to turn the Chaos Lord and the Noise Marines, which are normally very soft suppression counters, into pretty decent suppression counters. Not hard ones, but decent, and that's why getting double Shuriken is generally necessary. But you've got grenade launcher ticks as well, and I'd expect that to happen. You can use the line of sight blockers here. You know, if the Shuriken's trying to protect this sort of area, you can shoot it here. So then the Shuriken has to stay back over here, and then you can technically flank it from the bottom. I mean, yeah, the pressure that Chaos is able to put on in the early game here is going to be pretty big. CSM running through the mid constantly is going to be very annoying to deal with, because basically you need Shurikens, or you waste your fleet on your Banshees, but it doesn't even have the aspect yet for that. And then, when it gets to tier 2, I think it's actually a bit better in this matchup for the Eldar. Probably will see some Watt Spiders, just because it's the Watt Spider Exarch and you can get them for cheap. Certainly if some Bloodletters present, then I think you can more or less guarantee that there's going to be Watt Spiders. Otherwise, on this kind of map, where it is a big sort of ranged firing line down the mid, Dark Reapers could be quite handy actually. We'll have to see. But the Wraith Lord is kind of a given. I wouldn't be going for Falcons on this map. The pathing can be a bit of a nuisance. But Sphenomz is taking forever to get his second Shuriken out, that's all I can say. I have to imagine... okay, yeah. So he lost the initial 3 Guardian models, that delayed his gens. And now he's bought 2 War Gears, Battle Equipment and Aspect before getting the second Shuriken, which I think is a really bad idea. I don't think he needed to do that. Look, he's not losing his farm right now, is he? There hasn't even been that serious of an attempt to push against the farm, so it's bad. If he had double Shurikens out right now, he'd be in a way better position. But as far as this game looks right now, I know if I was playing, I would much prefer to be in Kickin's position. Because the other thing that I've not touched on yet, so Outer Reaches, it's one of them maps where it's quite easy to... okay, right now, the heretics need to be careful they don't get retreat naded. Because if they retreat, they're going to come down here. But Outer Reaches, it's a map that's very hard to get a triple cap on. It's quite easy to stall games on VPs when you're behind. And what that generally means is, that this map is more prone to getting tier 3. Now, like I said earlier, transport's not very good on this map, and therefore, also, tanks not very good on this map. Because the pathing shit, you don't have a lot of open areas where you can move around with a lot of speed and kite things. However, do you know what's really good on this map? Well, if you think CSM are good, because it's a short distance to get to the combat from your base, imagine what Terminators are like. Terminators are really good on this map. So, if Kickin can survive the tier 2, and, you know, right now, he is dominating the tier 1, so I'm sure he'll be okay in tier 2, and he gets to tier 3 and starts dropping Terminators, well, things are going to be really, really hard. Even a Phobos chilling sort of in the mid here could be quite good. Probably wouldn't go for that though, just because it's Eldar and an Eldritch Storm's too good against Phobos. But something to consider in other matchups, I suppose. I don't know if Kickin was a little bit late on dropping his gens. I feel like he must have been, because he is floating an ungodly amount of requisition, and I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would he be floating that much requisition? He hasn't, it's not like he spent disproportionate amounts on power. He must have just dropped his gens really late. Because it's odd, actually right now Sphenomz is going tier 1 first. You know, this is really weird. How did Kickin not manage to bash the gens when Sphenomz went for such a light tier 1, only one shuriken, and is now going to wipe a heretic squad? Yeah, well, classic Kickin. Classic Kickin. I know, man, just sloppy plays, poor plays. Poor plays. I mean, look, the Banshee's got a little lucky there with the special attack, but I don't know. Just, it seems to happen all the time to Kickin, I swear to God. So right now, the Noise Marines should be focusing on the Shuriken and the CSM moving to shoot the Guardians. The CSM not really achieving too much right now. They could just leave the War Spider. Well, they're going to wipe him because of knockback book, I guess. Maybe? I don't know, maybe that was just a micro drop from Sphenomz. Probably was knockback bug. So we're getting a bit of pressure now. These gens were left super low on HP. Gotta be careful with the retreat path again. Yeah, good, he pulls back. You know, if he pushed down straight away there to finish off that gen and then hit X, might have gone south. But yeah, the CSM can finish it off anyway. Warlock's now arrived. Have we got a Banshee Exarch? No, but we're gonna have one soon. And these two, now they've got their tier 2 upgrades, will be able to handle this force quite easily. No longer do the AC ticks dominate the combat. Kickin floated so much money. Not tier 2 yet, but he will be soon. He's got 70 in the bank power. Now the two AC ticks here should be able to win this fight. Though this squad's very late to the party, so maybe not, we'll see. We need another Doom Blast. Get out of there with these weak ones. Doom Blast to stop these guys shooting in would be handy. No Doom Blast, I don't know what he's doing. Oh man. If you got the Doom Blast as well, that... yeah, probably... Maybe it would have been a kill? I don't know. Here we go, the Autarch skill shot. Oh, perfectly executed. Man, I have not seen that in so long. Perfectly executed Autarch grenade skill shot. Beautifully done. That's some retail shit right there. So you know Sphenomz has been playing Eldar for quite a lot of time. It's funny, isn't it, that the sort of macro of the game, the players become very sloppy with, but they can still do the skill shots when the time comes up. The ridiculous skill shots. So there you go, that's double AC ticks wiped for Kickin. And now he has... Oh, I mean, he's in trouble, right? Because the Autarch is a fearsome melee threat. She gives the Scorpion Shield buff, which is AoE damage resistance to all nearby Eldar. And basically the range right now is useless against this Eldar force. War Spider can tie your ranged shit in melee. These guys have damage resistance against ranged from their leader. These guys get 50% damage resistance against range when they're using fleet with the Exarch. And then you have another 15% AoE range damage resistance with the Autarch. The Autarch and the Banshees are both power melee, so they're going to just rip the CSM to pieces. So right now there is one problem for Sphenomz. and that is the Blood Crusher, but there is already a Bright Lance in response. Probably not going to be enough to kill a Blood Crusher on its own. We shall see. Nice free XP down here for the Noise Marines, that's good use of their time. Kickin probably will want to get them to be the Blastmaster later on. In fact, honestly, maybe even now, and use it to counter the Bright Lance. It's not like your Sonic Blaster Noise Marines are going to be that good when the Autarch is on the field. I don't know why the Blood Crusher's AFK. Should be going up to fight the Howling Banshee since they opted for the Fleetness upgrade. So they're going to do very little damage against vehicles. Let's see. Oh, so we've got Bloodletters as well now. Classic combo, BC into BL. Yeah, Autarch's got to get out of there. Doesn't want to take a fight against the Bloodletters, that's for sure. What's better? Exat pops one of the fuckers though. He'll be happy with that. Has he got his upgrade? That seems like a really long range teleport. Yeah. Increases jump range by 20. Just improves his energy economy. A little bit of a flat HP increase. And reduces the cooldown of his teleport. So, more teleporting and teleporting longer distances. Very nice, versatile war gear. Lack of heretic support here for Kickin is going to be problematic. Did he ever get the Aspirant Champion? Oh he has, yeah, he's right at the front there, he's just lost the CSM. That's good. I was going to say, you know, like, right there when there's only Guardians to fight, you can just put the Chaos Lord in range stance with the Aspirant Champion CSM. You should be able to take those Guardians on fairly effectively. Keeping these Bloodletters in play when they've only got 2 models. They have got 3, god, I'm blind. But I don't know, even with 3 models, when they've got this much HP, I would question whether or not that's actually worth it. What's going on up top? So the Heretics are busy just capping up top. I really think they need to be down here. Yeah, too late. The Bright Lance is going to kill it. Poor play. Tried to initiate with Malignant Blindness there, but he was so slow to actually tie up the Bright Lance, and I don't know why. The Chaos Lord should have just gone after the Bright Lance, leave the Bloodletters to chop up the Guardians, because they obviously do the damage. The Chaos Lord does very little damage. Just strange. Good sacrifice used here, but completely pointless. Alright, here come the Warp Spiders, and they're going to wipe the Chaos Lord right now. Ooh, saved by the Noise Marines, maybe. Warp Spider X, that can probably melee him. Gonna go for it. Oh, he cancelled his shot, it doesn't matter. He gets him. Did use Crack Shot there, and it was also unnecessary, so we're getting a little bit of global waste here. Bit less of a waste when you use Crack Shot compared to Blood Sacrifice, but still, Kickin's got a lot of red. Now though, looking at the armies, I must admit I'd rather be Kickin. Sorry, I would not rather be Kickin, I'd rather be Sphenomz in this instance. Thinking about Kickin, his best option now, I don't really know what he could get, because he's got resources that make a Dreadnought very nice. That's what I was thinking looking at his resources, but then you consider that we've just got War Spiders who have the Haywire Grenade, and he already got the Blood Crusher, so there's already a Bright Lance on the field, so there's already 2 sources of AV here. So is that Dreadnought really going to be that cost effective? I mean, it's such an expensive piece of kit. I feel like if Kickin gets this Dreadnought and loses it quite quickly without getting much value, then Kickin is, well, I'm not going to say he's doomed, because the VP situation certainly gives him a lot of time to make a comeback, but I'd say he'd be really far behind. Here come the Bloodletters with a very nice teleport there in the Bright Lance. They're going to wipe it with a speed buff that they get from the Heretics, most likely. Oh, come on. Really? They get out? Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I don't know how that happened, honestly. Autarch now in a really terrible spot. Yeah, she's going to jump away, and that's going to be pretty nice, actually. We'll see the heavy gauge filament stunning the Chaos Lord. I think Kickin didn't realise he was stunned there, so he kept him in, trying to get the kill the weak. Would have been beautiful if he could have got it off, but of course, the Warp Spider Exile denied that there. Sphenomz going very all in here, trying to get some extra kills on the Bloodletters, but I don't think it's going to be that effective. Haywire does go down to mute the Dreadnought temporarily, but of course it doesn't really do that much damage. And there's no follow-up, the Bright Lance is nowhere to be seen. I suppose this could be quite tough actually for Sphenomz, because he has to somehow get rid of these Bloodletters from the Bright Lance. I mean, it should be viable. If you have the Banshees nearby, and then you have Guardians and Warp Spiders, worship or not, that's going to melt the Bloodletters, especially if you put Crackshot on the Warp Spiders. It's one of the best things about Warp Spiders in this matchup. They're the best source of DPS you can get as the Eldar, and honestly, there's a lot of factions for a single unit in Tier 2 against Plague Marines and Bloodletters. So Chaos Dreadnought moves up there, takes a little bit of pew pew onto the attack, and takes a lot of pew pew from the Bright Lance. Persuaded to move away. Warp Spider Exarch went down, I don't know how. Why did he go down? I don't know what the Warp Spider Exarch is even doing over here, to be honest. So I think what Sphenomz needs to do now, actually, what he really needs to do right now is replace his power. I don't know why he's running around with not even a single power node and over 500 requisition. That's ridiculous. What I was gonna say, before I realised he didn't have any power at all, was he needs to get a Wraith Lord. This is looking like a really bad spot for the Blastmaster. Oh, has to run right through Banshees way too late on the Malignant Blindness. Doesn't do anything because the Autarch's already in melee, so it doesn't achieve anything. And right now, you know, default Chaos Dreadnought, 20% melee resistance on this bad boy. Still taking a lot of damage from the power melee from the Autarch and the Banshees. That just goes to show you how much DPS these ladies can output. You know, that's power melee, not heavy melee. And still, even with minor melee resist, doing some good damage. But Haywire wears off, the Dreadnought opens up fire. All of a sudden, you don't want your Banshees here. Banshees now running through... God, running through Bloodletters and Retreat Path. Not ideal. CSM might be able to kill a Guardian if they turn around a melee here. It doesn't look like they're going to bother. Sphenomz really needs to replace his power. I don't know what he's doing. He needs a Wraith Lord. If he gets a Wraith Lord, he's going to be in a beautiful position. Because the Wraith Lord can just push straight into the Dreadnought. And just with a little bit of chip from the Guardians, a Guardian weapons team with the Bright Lance, the Wraith Lord then should be able to finish it off. Certainly when you consider that there's the option of the Haywire Grenade as well to snare the Dreadnought. Then once the Dreadnought's gone, compositionally there's basically nothing that Kickin can do, because he then gets Plague Marines and they get wrecked by Warp Spiders plus Banshees, or he goes for a Havoc with a Las Cannon and they get wrecked by the Autarch and the Banshees. So he needs a Wraith Lord, but it's going to take ages because he's not building power for some reason. He's only just got 120 now. He wants the Wraith Lord and then go to tier 3 and get Seer Council, and then he should be good. Kickin needs to keep this Dreadnought alive. Well, here comes a Wraith Lord. This is exactly what he needs. Kickin needs to get some Plague Marines, I think. Kickin's in the worst spot for sure. When these Warp Spiders start leveling up more, I mean, they're already level 2. The DPS and the HP is going to be a real problem. There's no proper counter to them on Kickin's roster. Probably best to send the Chaos Lord after these Warp Spiders. Let the Galaxy Burn. I don't know how well Let the Galaxy Burn is going to do here. I mean, it can force a jump on the Warp Spiders. You can use it at close range where it's a bit more accurate in order to disrupt and try and handle the Banshees, but level 3 Banshees at this point, I'm not sure that Let the Galaxy Burn is really going to achieve too much. We'll see. Might have gone for the Drain Life. Not only can that counter the Autarch really well, but it also can pick up the Banshee Exarch and do a lot of damage to her. I think it probably would have been a bit more effective. We'll see. So I say Chaos Lord, hunt the Warp Spiders. Bloodletters obviously need to rout the Bright Lance so that the Dreadnought has a chance against the Wraith Lord. Obviously the Dreadnought's going to lose 1v1. The Dreadnought could die right now. This is a really bad spot for the Dreadnought. Ooh, not a lot of HP on it. The Wraith Lord is in retreat path. The Wraith Lord fortunately doesn't have a shoulder mounted Bright Lance right now, so it can only do AV damage in melee. And melee AV damage from a Walker, not great against fleeing units. Yeah, I think that Dreadnought's going to get out of there, which is really nice for Kickin. I think maybe a big micro mistake here from Sphenomz. The Autarch is in the base and he's not retreating. He hasn't realised. He's going to throw away the Autarch. He does. He throws away the Autarch. Too busy trying to snipe the Chaos Lord using that heavy gauge filament again and doesn't get it. That is a huge, huge win for Kickin. He really needed that. That Autak was just providing so many things. Not only is she providing good power melee DPS, oh my god, he wipes the Banshees as well with a lovely teleport into retreat, but now there is a shoulder-mounted Bright Lance. There is a Bright Lance over here as well, so the pressure is on for the Dreadnought, but good use of the Corn Worship plus Malignant Blindness. The Dreadnought manages to get out, and we have Plague Marines on the way. Now this is where Kickin is in a decent spot, because now he can snare the Wraithlord with the Plague Marines, do okay damage, but then that gives the Chaos Dreadnought a bit more time before the Wraithlord gets into melee, so the Chaos Dreadnought can pour on some ranged DPS. And then when the Wraithlord's weakened by the autocannon and the missiles, maybe then the Chaos Dreadnought has a bit of a chance in melee against the Wraithlord. Chaos Dreadnought's level 2 as well, which is nice. Yeah, and you see, Corn Worship right now would be beautiful. Imagine if he was using Corn Worship, speed up his Plague Marines chasing down this Wraithlord. And now you see Sphenomz is deciding to call in more Warp Spiders because he feels like he's under pressure. He feels like he's under pressure, so he can't afford to go tier 3 and get Seer Council, which would be, oh, Seer Council would be amazing against this composition. Wouldn't they? But yeah, they would be a long way off, so that would be super risky. Right now, the issue that Sphenomz has is he has no melee, so dealing with this Plague Marine squad is going to be a problem. CSM moving into melee with a Bright Lance. Oh, Sphenomz too slow to retreat them. They're going to get wiped. Oh, Sphenomz is capitulating big time here. I think, well, who knows? But he's in a terrible spot right now. It's not looking good. Never replaced his gens. Man, he had over 500 requisition for ages. And he never replaced his gens. That's so weird. So he actually is quite low on power now, even though we're super late in the game. Look at Kickin, 300 power. Kickin never, ever has to worry about power again. Even if these gens got wiped, he never has to worry about power again for the rest of the game. He could go tier 3 and get a frigging tank. By the time he goes tier 3 and gets a tank, he'd have enough money for Terminators as well, even if he lost all his gens. Just from the plus 10 per minute that you get from your base. So that right there is a concern that Kickin doesn't have to deal with, but Sphenomz really does. Like, Sphenomz, yeah, he couldn't even go tier 3 like I was saying because he was so low on power, but he shouldn't have been. He should have had plenty of power. Ooh, very bold teleport there from his fresh Warp Spider squad. Only level 1 Warp Spiders, so not very tanky. Might want to consider getting the Power Blades on the Warp Spider Exarch and just use him to tie up these Plague Marines. Look at the... Oh, these Plague Marines have been such a problem. Yeah, they need tying up. I mean, obviously he can tie them up with his normal melee, it just won't do a lot of damage. Having the Power Blades, at least you get the special attack. You can disrupt them a bit more, do significantly more DPS, about a bit more than double, about 2.5 times as much damage in melee. Garge is now getting wrecked by Bloodletters. These Bloodletters have done amazing. Nearly level 4. Eventually, these guys managed to chop the Plague Marines to pieces. It really did take some time. What's going on up here? Chaos Lord's capping. As the Chaos Lord does so well, capping next to a web we get. And yeah, look, Kickin's economy is great. He can go tier 3 now, and I probably would. I mean, the VPs are starting to get a little low. Alternatively, he could just get another Dreadnought, you know. It's never a bad play, so to speak. I think either play would work. Go tier 3, drop Terminators and then win. Or just spam Dreadnoughts until you can win on the VPs because the VPs are so low. I think either player would be quite legit right now. Let's see what Kickin does. He's not doing anything yet. He's going tier 3. Okay. So he just needs to do his best now not to start bleeding VPs. Because it can be annoying. You're against a Warp Spider Exarch. As if Eldar weren't bad enough just with Weber Gates. This fucker can be teleporting all over the place as well. So they can always try and route a win, avoiding fights and just capping VPs. So Kickin needs to be conservative here. I would be staying on my 50% of the map if I was Kickin. I wouldn't be pushing too deep. Just keep that economic grind going. I mean, it should be quite clear to Kickin that he's bleeding his foe far more than he himself is bleeding. Just keep that going. Look at the DPS here. All that DPS going onto the Warlock. He's going to die soon, that Warlock. Taking a lot of damage. Shot to shit and he lives. Fucking hell. Very impressive. He must be on like 50 HP. A lot of piercing DPS coming out right now. Killing that Plague Marine quite quickly. But this is not a good engagement. The Bloodletter's been there. The Autocannon Dreadnought pouring on DPS. Not ideal. Oh, Bloodletters are ripping those Guardians to pieces. And CSM and Chaos Lord should be able to secure the top VP. 130 VPs for Kickin. Just over 100 now for Sphenomz. Sphenomz is really on the back foot here. I don't think he can win. I think, like I say, it's going to be just drop Terminators, Kickin. That's all you need. You don't go for a fucking super unit at this point. That's ridiculous. Just drop Terminator, get autocannon Terminators right now, and you win. Just imagine, you know, like having the Banshees right now tying up all this shit so the Bloodletters can't go crazy. Same with the Autarch, so you've got the damage resistance against that autocannon. Ah, be beautiful. Such big losses for Sphenomz. It really ruined his composition. Those Banshees must have been level 4 as well by the time they died. Bloodletters here under Worship doing very well against the Wraithlord. I guess level 4 Bloodletters. Ooh, and you know what? I think that next swing from the Wraithlord would have killed that Bloodletter model because he kept hitting it repeatedly and he just entered warp. Entered the warp as soon as the swing came. Very nice Bloodletter play there from Kickin. Looks like Kickin's going for the super unit, the fucking troll. Sphenomz... Okay, there is a Chaos Lord there. I was going to say, I don't know why Sphenomz is not pushing onto the VP. It's because I didn't see the Chaos Lord, because of no indicator. I guess Sphenomz didn't even know. What's he doing? If he didn't know the Chaos Lord was there, why the hell was he not capping earlier? I don't know. But... crack shot on the Warp Spiders, more damage, more range. Just trying to get rid of this Chaos Lord because he does need to cap the VP quite quickly. Sphenomz is getting very low on VPs. 65. Well, manages to snag the Chaos Lord there using that heavy gauge filament. It's going to be a great and clean one though. Good luck snagging that one. He does stop the VP bleed, but for how long? I really don't think the super unit's necessary here. I think autocannon Terminators would just GG this. Normally you'd be hesitant to go for them because Banshees might rip your Terminators to pieces, but there's no Banshees, there's no Autarch, and it's a Warp Spider, not a Warlock or Farseer, so... I think ranged Terminators would be impossible to kill right now. I mean, they'd be immune to basically all this damage because it's all piercing DPS. So it's not going to do anything to super heavy infantry.
You must forestall the coming doom.
And speaking of super heavy infantry, great and clean one, yeah, I don't know how Sphenomz is going to kill that. Need like triple fucking Wraithlord. But yeah, this is done. Kickin just needs to put the stake in now, finish this. Hammer that stake into his chest. End this shit. Nearly wiping the friggin' Plague Marines there. Kickin maybe getting a little bit... I don't know.
There's a power node. Their vehicle is after me.
I really don't know what Sphenomz can do here. I mean, I guess... You know that when you're a Warp Spider Exarch, there's always a way to manage to get a win on VPs. The VPs for Kickin aren't that high. Oh, double Haywire Grenade now. Boom! Gonna kill the Dreadnought, wow. Double Haywire, finish it off with the Wraithlord, get out of there. Plague Marines are gonna be a pain in the ass, but he does have double Warp Spiders right now, so they can put on a lot of DPS. They should probably be focusing the... Oh god, the Vomit, no! A little bit late there on the teleport. That's a lot of dead Warp Spiders, and now we've got Bloodletters in retreat path as well. They haven't managed to kill anything. And a Abyss on retreat. Oh, dude. Literally the best nuke on retreat. But he was too slow. If that was just positioned here, that'd be 2 dead Warp Spider squads. I mean, it shouldn't matter. The Great and Clean one should be basically unkillable here, so... Just park the Great and Clean One at the top VP. It should be easy enough to defend this bottom VP with your CSM, level 4 CSM at this point. What's that Chaos Lord doing? Yeah, and then just keep the Chaos Lord running to his natural VP constantly. And that should be that. Foul Snare, that's a dead Warp Spider Exarch. Yeah, and the Red Flood's going down too. Can't get out of here. Pulled down by a big sweaty Great Unclean One. Just imagine what Great and Clean Ones smell like. Of all the pus and the buboes and the blood. And yeah, I wonder if they sweat. I wonder if demons sweat. I mean, I don't imagine most demons would sweat, why would they? But I bet Nurgle demons do, just because Nurgle thinks that's funny, you know? It's fitting for the disease and shit. I bet Nurgle demons shit as well, even though it's completely unnecessary. Oh, shit. Well, there you go. That's a replay. That's a replay, and I hit the Windows key by accident. As if we seen a Great and Clean One. Why did we see a Great and Clean One? It was such a tight game as well. Until Sphenomz threw the Banshees and the Autarch. But there you go. You can't afford to lose those kind of units, especially level 4 Banshees in a fairly close game. And I gotta say, guys, I think I called it quite well. A lot of the players. Tell me what you think in the comments. Thank you, folks. Peace out. Torpid out. Torpid, peace out.